Hey guys, how's it going? Real quick, I'm going to take you through my bias list for the girls of K-pop. Now, if you're not familiar with K-pop, when I say biases, that basically just means your favorites. So, let's get started. Number 15 is Nana from After School, Orange Caramel, a bunch of other subgroups. She doesn't have the most powerful voice. She has kind of a softer, sweeter vocal tone, but she's a really good performer. She's a really good singer. And being in a big group like After School, her voice kind of balances out some of the more power singers, so it's really not a problem. Overall, she's just a great performer, and I'm a big fan. Number 14 is Yoon from 4 Minute. Now, I'm not a huge 4 Minute fan. I don't listen to a lot of their stuff, but I have liked quite a few of their songs. And every time I watch them, I'm always impressed by Yoon. She just kind of stands out to me. She's got a kind of a power voice. When she opens up her voice and really belts stuff, it just sounds really, really cool. Oh, and one other thing is the subgroup of 4 Minute, Yoon, managed to pull off probably the first and only K-pop country hoedown song. And trust me, when I heard about the concept for this video, I thought, this is going to be an epic failure, this is going to be a joke. But, you know, it won me over. It was an awesome song. The singing in it was great. And again, Yoon just really stood out to me, you know, belting parts, sounding awesome. And she actually has the same birthday that I do, although I think she's a year younger. So that's pretty cool. Number 13 is Nicole from Cara. I'm a big fan of Cara, but every time I listen to them and every time I watch one of their music videos, my attention is drawn to Nicole. And she's just a really good performer. Her singing is cool. Her dancing is really good, and she's just really aware of her surroundings, it seems like, and has a really good stage presence. So I'm a big fan of hers. She doesn't always get to sing as much, but hopefully they'll give her some more parts in the future. I would actually like to see her do a small subgroup or a solo track. I'm not sure why, but I have a feeling that it would be really cool. Number 12 is Dana, or Donna, from The Grace. I don't really know how to say her name because I've never seen it written in Hangul. It's only been written in English, so I'm not sure if they're trying to have her name be the English Dana, or maybe it's Donna spelled differently. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm a huge fan of her. She started out, I think, back in 2001 with a solo career and was put into The Grace pretty soon after. And they did a lot of really early K-pop stuff, and it kind of seems like SM was still figuring out the kind of sound and overall package that they wanted to get from their artists at the time. So I'm not a huge fan of some of it, but it's not bad by any means, and of course it led to very awesome things in the future. Actually, the thing I really like that she did is their subgroup, Dana and Sunday, their newest song that I think came out in 2011, and I think it's really their only lead track they've ever put out. I really like what they did on that. It's very different and unique from anything else that SM has. And so is Dana. Her style is different, her persona seems to be different, but it's something that I really like to see, and I'm definitely a huge fan of hers. Number 11 is Sunhwa from Secret, and she's probably the weakest singer in Secret, but of course that means nothing because Secret is just loaded with talent and awesome singers. And she seems to kind of be the shy, quiet one in the group that's definitely holds back a little more than the others, but I still really appreciate what she does in the group. She has kind of a softer, sweeter voice that really complements the power singers in that group, and I can always pick her out in the harmonies when I'm listening, and it just gives a really nice flavor to the overall sound that is Secret. Number 10 is Yoon from Girls' Generation. Now, little disclaimer here, when I was first learning about Girls' Generation and getting into their stuff and learning who each of the members were and their different styles and personalities, everybody would always say, oh, you know, Yoon is the visual, Yoon is the visual, Yoon is the one to look at, Yoon is the one that gets all the modeling contracts. And I wasn't seeing it. I was always like, huh? What about, and I'd name 5 other members that I thought would be better visuals. But that's not really important, it's just a personal preference thing. But I did kind of hold that against her in the back of my mind, because everybody would always talk her up so much that I was kind of like, yeah, you know, what's the deal with her? But as I got to see more interviews, especially in TV shows, she just has such a cool personality. She seems like one of the coolest people you could ever meet and hang out with. And when they ask her loaded questions like, so, being the visual of Girls' Generation, you know, and she's sitting in front of the 8 other members, she always disarms the situation and answers so well and with so much class and just sort of laughs it off that I really gained a lot of respect for her, and she moved up a lot on my list. Number 9 is Yoon from Secret. Now Yoon is she's the fire in Secret. She's got the power voice. She's got that brassy, wide open, punch you in the face vocal tone, and also stylistically I really like her singing, the note choice and the runs she chooses to do, but mainly just for that sheer power and just letting it rip and stuff. I really like her vocals. She's just got that fire and sizzle in her voice, but not enough to be overly harsh, that it's just a really good mix. And then combine that with just laser-like precision on notes, and that combination leads to basically my favorite type of singer, so she's definitely one of my favorite singers in K-pop. Number 8 is Victoria from FX, and FX was one of the first groups, them and Girls' Generation, that I actually knew about in K-pop, so I always kind of have a soft spot for FX, but Victoria always stood out to me. She's just kind of got like a maturity about her and the way she carries herself, and she just seems very, very classy and confident, and I really respect that. And you know, she is a little bit older, so maybe some of that comes with age compared to the other members, but you know, she's only a couple years older than me. Her performance level is just so good. Her dancing is awesome, her singing is really good. You know, her overall stage presence and performance is just fantastic. Plus she's Chinese, so she had to learn how to read and speak Korean basically on the job while training to be an FX, which I think is just awesome. And she speaks a passable amount of English, so that, to me, that's really impressive because I'm not good at learning languages. Her voice almost has a little bit of a scratchiness, like a whininess in it, but it's not too much. It's just the right amount, and it makes her sound kind of unique, and it just adds a cool flavor into this sort of mix of vocals that makes up FX. Number 7 is Kyungri from Nine Muses. Now, a little disclaimer here, I did not want to like Nine Muses. I really wanted to dislike Nine Muses because they seem like such a Girls' Generation knockoff clone band. You know, there is no practical or functional reason to have 9 members in a group. Now, Girls' Generation, I think that was just by chance that they came out with 9 members, because I think they had they started with 15 or 13 and then went down to like 11, and then right at the end they had 10, and then it cut it down to 9. So it was kind of just a chance thing, and whoever made or didn't make the cut was going to be how many members. Well, after you have Girls' Generation being super successful, then any other group, because it's not really necessary to have 9 members, you know, it's like, why did you pick 9? You could have picked 10, or you could have picked 8. And then looking at Nine Muses, you know, like, I've seen where they've tried to copy like hairstyles and makeup and even outfits, it seems like, from Girls' Generation. So looking at it from that aspect, I really didn't want to like them, but once I started watching them and live performances and interviews, they did win me over. They're a really good group. Their newer stuff like Wild I think is really good, and they're actually very, very good live, which I did not expect. They do have a couple weaker members vocally, but they do a pretty good job in hiding them, and Kyungri was brought in more recently. She's not an original member, and I think she was brought in to give them some more vocal oomph and power, and she does just that. Like, everything she does stylistically I like. How she chooses to hold notes out, how she shapes notes, how she ends notes. It's the little things like that, you know, articulations, dynamics. She's just very skilled at doing that, and I really, really like her style. So I was pretty blown away when I first saw and heard Kyungri, and she went all the way up my list to number 7 out of nowhere. Number 6 is Tiffany from Girls' Generation. And let's be honest here, what is there not to like about Tiffany from Girls' Generation? I mean, come on. She's just awesome. She has a really cool voice. I think I remember reading that she has the same vocal cord condition as Natalie Horler of Cascada, which actually required surgery to fix, and Tiffany's just living with it right now. And it makes it very, very hard to sing, sometimes very painful. And I think it has changed her vocal tone over the years. She started with a sweeter, more sing-songy sounding type voice, if that's even a word, and then she moved to now she still has a very sort of sweet voice with a good amount of power, but she kind of has a little bit of a hollow, husky sound, like a breathy sound in her voice too, something that's a little bit scratchy. kind of like you have a dry throat. And actually, I really like how that sounds. I think it's a plus for her now, even though she probably doesn't like it because it probably hurts her to sing, but the fact that she has that and she's still such a great singer and she's able to perform at such a high level, nothing but respect. Number 5 is Hyo-sung from Secret. What can I say about Hyo-sung? She's just impressive. She's like a couple days older than me, so it's so cool to see somebody that's like exactly my age with so much confidence and belief in their own skills and practice and abilities. And she's kind of got that attitude, but without being arrogant. And that's kind of a really good balance to have, where you have confidence in your own performing and skill set, but at the same time you're not lording it over anyone. You're not stuck up, you're not arrogant, you're not rubbing it in people's face. It just sort of comes out of you, and she lets her performances, speak for themselves. And she's got an awesome voice, her dancing's great, her performing overall is just fantastic. And I will say one more thing though. I've seen in a lot of comments online and in forums and stuff, people just giving her crap about how she looks and, oh, she's overweight and all this junk. And I gotta be honest here, I mean, are we looking at the same person? Because I'm not seeing it. I think she looks absolutely great. And actually, I've seen her in a couple interviews. She's even addressed that and people saying things about her, and she handles it so well. But I just wanted to go on the record saying, Hyo-sung, you look great. Don't listen to anybody online. Number 4 is Cho Yong from Girls' Generation. And Hyo is she seems like one of the coolest people you could ever meet. She's always positive. She always keeps things light and fun, but is an absolute professional about everything. She just must be awesome to work with, whether it's recording or doing, a promotional shoot with modeling or dance training. She just seems like she's that person that you want to go to work with because she's going to work hard but not take things too seriously. And she has kind of a raspy sounding bite to her voice, but she is a fantastic singer. Everybody always talks about her dancing, which is phenomenal, but her singing is, I would argue, as good as her dancing. And she doesn't get a whole lot of singing parts in Girls' Generation. I know it's a 9-member group, there's only so much time in every song, it's hard to divide it up, and they're absolutely jam-packed with talented singers, but I'd still like to see Hyo get a little bit more time, because she and Yuri did a song with Henry, and they were singing the lead parts, and basically proved that they could sing any of the lead parts in any Girls' Generation song, if they had to or if they were assigned to. So don't overlook her singing. Definitely check out some of the stuff she's done solo or in small groups away from Girls' Generation, because this girl can sing. Number 3 on my list is Luna from FX. For a long time, Luna was actually number 1 on this list, and then for an even longer time, she was tied at number 1 with the person that you'll see is number 1 in a few minutes. But recently, I had to move her down to 2. It wasn't because Luna moved down or I stopped liking her singing. It's just that the other 2 that are now above her just convinced me and totally impressed me, and I had to move them up. Luna, arguably, I think could be the best female singer in K-pop. I don't know if I'd put her there. I'd probably put her somewhere in a top 3, possibly at number 1, possibly at number 2, maybe even a number 3, I don't know. But she is just an absolute beast at singing. She can sing any style, any genre. I think she might actually have perfect pitch, but even if she doesn't, she's just an insane level singer. The skills and the practice and the work she's put in. And really my favorite thing about her is you can tell she really cares about the artistry behind her singing. She cares that she's giving a good performance. She wants to get better at singing. And there was a reality show where she had to sing on like a mock American Idol type show, and one of the judges was really mean to her, and instead of getting an attitude and saying, I'm Luna, I'm in FX, we've sold this many albums and I'm famous, even though what he said was wrong and really mean-spirited, she took it to heart and just started bawling and crying and trying to hold herself together, but she just couldn't. And you could see on her face that she just has no ego, and she genuinely wants to perform and keep becoming a better musician, keep becoming a better singer. And it's that kind of drive and work ethic and attention to detail that I just respect so, so much. And really, if I could talk to Luna, I'd just say to her, you know, keep doing what you're doing because you inspire me to work harder, to be a better musician, to be a better recording engineer, to be better at mixing, you know, to be better at listening to music, all of those things. And it's people like Luna that are really great examples for kids who are starting an instrument or starting to learn to sing, and just a great overall role model and a fantastic singer. Number 2 on my list is Taeyeon from Girls' Generation, and she used to be floating around the 3 or 4 spot on my list. For the longest time, I've always noticed Taeyeon from Girls' Generation. You know, when I first saw Genie, and I was just totally like, what is this? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I've never heard anything like this. And really, Genie still impresses me like that today when I watch it. It's just such a new and unique and awesome piece of music and music video history. And of course, Taeyeon has that haunting solo at the end, you know, where she's just belting out that end part, and then it goes into that giant long echo after she hits the last note right at the end of the song. You know, it's just, it gives you chills. It's just awesome. So I've always noticed Taeyeon ever since that, and that was one of the first things I ever watched by Girls' Generation. When I think of Taeyeon, I just think of a beast. She's like the ultimate professional. Her singing is always just laser on point, even when the other members can't hear. You know, they're in a bad venue, the sound guy's sleeping, you know, and she can't hear. She's still, you can see on her face, she's trying so hard to hold everything together. She's always that rock solid, steady, laser beam type voice that's hitting the notes she's got to hit. She doesn't have the most gigantic range or the sweetest sounding voice, but she just makes everything that she has work perfectly. And I just love it when she pushes her voice into that sort of growly distortion, like, I'm gonna hit this note if it's the last thing I ever do, and bam, she hits it every time. But you know, even in ballads for dramas, you know, she has a very soft side of her voice too, and is an absolutely fantastic finesse singer. So she can do it all, and I really like her dorky, quirky sort of personality. She seems like the kind of person that if I was working with for long hours in the studio, I wouldn't get sick of working with her, because she's so professional about everything, but at the same time, she's just a regular person. You know, she can go out in a music video and just look like a jaw-dropping model, and then come back and be in the recording studio with her goofy glasses on, just being a total dork. And it's so cool that she can do both things, and I really respect that. Okay, number 1 on my list. Can we get a drum roll? Who cares? Anyway, I'll just come right out and say it. My number 1 bias in all of K-pop, and really all of music, or anything, is Yuri from Girls' Generation. And to me, Yuri is just the ultimate performer, singer, classy, awesome person that I could possibly think of. You can tell she's so confident in herself, but not arrogant at all. She's just so incredibly classy and handles things so well. Even when they try to rattle her on game shows and interviews, she handles it like it's nothing. She's just one of the most consistent performers in Girls' Generation, and really maybe any K-pop group. You always know you're going to get a high level of performance from her. She's absolutely gorgeous. I think she's really one of the best dancers in K-pop. I know Hyo gets a lot of attention in Girls' Generation as being the, you know, lead dancer or whatever, but really, if you watch some of the subgroup things they do that are just dance numbers, Yuri is right there. Like, she's just as good, and I would almost argue, and some things, she's even better than Hyo. They don't let her sing a lot, but she just has the coolest sounding voice. Like, she has kind of a low voice, but there's no harshness in her voice at all. And coming from like a recording perspective, almost everybody has like some mid-range in their voice. I have a lot of it in my voice, which, you know, it's kind of this frequency that kind of gets harsh sounding. And some people have a lot of it, some people have a little of it. She has like none of it. She has one of the smoothest, most relaxing voices I've ever heard, but at the same time, she can sing lead. Like I was saying earlier, check out the thing she did with Hyo and Henry. She can sing lead parts with no problem. She's an awesome singer. But anyway, she's just my absolute favorite in K-pop, my number 1 bias. I would love to work with her someday, and you know, whether it's recording a song or writing a song with Girls' Generation, or helping produce a song, or helping produce a song for maybe a Yuri, Hyo, Yuna subgroup. Huh? What do you think, SM? Yeah? Call me, I'll help produce it. Anyway, I kind of hope she never sees this video because I'll be very embarrassed for being such a gigantic fanboy, but I can't help it. I'm a huge Yuri fan. So, that is my bias list, and I'll be doing a similar video pretty soon for the guys where I'll rank my top 15 favorite male singers in K-pop. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you soon.